Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin Christmas calendar and what it could possibly show us for what Bitcoin's next move could be. And are you prepared for what's coming next? And of course, we're going to look at the charts and a bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into in the channel. But as you know, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, you know what I'm going to say next. Smash that like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel. And of course, love all the kind words that you leave below in the comments. You take the time to write it. I take the time to read it. Thank you so much. And of course, those who leave questions below in the comment section, I do look to get back to those as soon as I am able to. And if you would like to connect with me more directly and engage in the Discord, the Stocks with Josh Discord, I am in the crypto channel there daily with some of the most amazing people on the planet. Also in the meme coin channel that I now have dubbed AKA the Party Zone. And of course, I have my own Crowned Traders channel in there where I give education, insights, resources, as well, of course, as some trade setups that I'm taking and entertainment because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And so if you would like to get signed up for that, there are links below in the description. You might need to click the more button where it will pop out there and you can get started there. Would love to see you in there. And of course, my X handle is also below in the description as well. Why do I mention that? I'm so glad you asked here that if you are following me on X, that is one of the ways that I locate people for giveaways if you're part of the X community there. So if you're don't have an X account or you're not signed up, it's free. You can sign up for X, create an account, follow me there, and I will be choosing some people there for some giveaways coming in maybe today, tomorrow, over this Christmas period through the New Year's. Now, not everybody who follows on X is going to obviously get the giveaway. There are just going to be a couple of people randomly selected there, and also want to make sure that you're following and subscribed on the YouTube channel as well. And just to make sure that you do have the Sui wallet. So you'll need to have the Sui wallet. So if you don't have the Sui wallet, make sure you download the Sui wallet. Okay, so what are we going to do now? We are going to jump into the Christmas calendar, Bitcoin's Christmas calendar. And what we have here is we have some historical data, which is actually pretty neat when we look at it here. It's Christmas before the halving, which is yellow. And so Christmas before the halving has generally been a good time to buy Bitcoin. We did have this Black Swan event here in 2020. And then, but obviously, if you bought there, you would have been significantly up over that period. And then we have seen Christmas before the halving was very bullish for Bitcoin as well. Christmas after the halving, this is the period that we're in now. Christmas after the halving, again, has typically, you've seen, been very, very bullish for Bitcoin. Okay, sure, there's some ups and downs, and we know that there's the January dump, which traditionally has come in around that first week of January, which has led to historically around a 30% drop, although I'm not sure we'll see that much this time. And some people are saying maybe the January drop came early. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Of course, we have the post-market cycle peak. So this is after Bitcoin's peak. So that's probably the only time not to buy at Christmas there in the red. You want to avoid buying Bitcoin at Christmas. In fact, you'd probably historically have wanted to sell that. And then the Christmas market cycle lows, again, that's in the bear market, has been historically a good time to add Bitcoin. So there's really only 1 year out of the 4 that hasn't been a good time historically to buy at Christmas, and that is after the bull market has finished. So if the bull market is still on, which I do think it is, and look, we have to always consider the likelihood that the bull market is over, which I do not think it is. I think there would be a very low probability then it would be a good time historically to buy Bitcoin during these dips. And we did see in both previous halving years in 2016, and 2020, we have seen that there was a drop on December the 20th on December in 2020, and the same happened here. And the drop in 2016 came from December 23rd to the 25th. But in both prior cycles, Bitcoin did have some upside from around December 25th up through the end of the year, before a little bit more upside for the first couple of days in the new year, before having a drop around about that 3rd, 4th, 5th of January. And then altcoins began to take over in that January period, and there was altcoin season. We'll talk about that a little bit in the altcoin video there. So the question is, will history repeat? And I think the likelihood is that it does, and that we do see these moves we've seen here after the Christmas, after the halving, like we've seen here, like we've seen here, and also like we've seen here. Well, this one was interrupted with a very, very deep retracement there from about 65 down to the 30K level before it jumped back up to 69K. We didn't really see that. Obviously, there was a little bit of a drops there, and I guess there was a fairly heavy drop there when you think of that, but that was in the first, that was really early on in Bitcoin history. So we'll see what kind of shakes out here. Let's look at the Bitcoin price action here, and as you can see, we have found support at the 50-day moving average there. And I did say, once there is, if you've seen how to trade the golden cross like a boss video, you can see that after the golden cross of Bitcoin, which we saw back over here in October, after the golden cross, historically, Bitcoin has always come back to retest the 50-day moving average. Well, of course, after the golden cross, when we had the golden cross here, the price of Bitcoin was around about $63,000. And you can see that buying the Bitcoin just before or when there is a golden cross is not a bad idea also, or would have not been a bad idea in this case anyway. But the retracement has come, and the 50-day moving average is all the way up at around that 94,000. Looks like it's sitting around 94,000 and change. So can we break down from here? Well, of course we can break down from here. Will we break down from here is the question, or will we see that rally come? And it's the 24th today, and I do know that in some places, in some countries, it's Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to those of you who may be experiencing Christmas already, particularly down under there in the old land of Australia and New Zealand down there, and also the islands of Fiji and some of the other Pacific islands. If you happen to be watching there and I've missed anywhere, I do apologize. A big Merry Christmas to everybody there who is already starting to experience the Christmas Day festivities. And so what you can see here is historically Bitcoin on the 25th has rallied through to the end of the year. Now, I think 120,000 probably is off the cards now, but what I'm looking for is maybe a return to this 108K level, or possibly even this 104, 105K level, if we were to see the normal Christmas rally from Christmas through to the New Year's. Of course, if the January drop has come early, which I don't think that it has, this is a normal pre-Christmas drop that we've seen each cycle. So I do think we're going to see this normal pre-Christmas drop, and I do think we're going to see the January drop as well, okay? So I do think both of those things are still going to happen and are still going to play out. You're going to have those companies and people that want to take the profits, lock them in so they can show a great new year to their investors, to say, hey, continue investing with us. This is what we've made for you. These are the profits that we've locked in. And then there are also going to be those people that are going to want to drop and take the profits in the new year, the second wave of profit taking, who are going to want to pay off all those Christmas presents, Christmas vacations, and who are also going to want to defer the profits until 2025, so they don't have to pay them until 2026. And of course, there are people here taking profits in 2024 that may want to be paying for some Christmas presents, a new car, a new house, a new boat, or whatever it may be, just some some new things for the home or whatever it might happen to be, a vacation or travel, that wanted to lock in some profits and do that before Christmas. So I think it makes sense that there is some profit taking before Christmas and a bit of a drop into it, and then we springboard out of Christmas. And then I would be absolutely surprised if we did not springboard out from kind of around the December 25th onwards through to the new year with a bit of a surge in Bitcoin there. And then I would again think that we're going to see that January drop around that first week of January, even the 1st of January. Don't be surprised if the sell-off happens there. And then we do have historically seen Bitcoin drop 30%. Now, we don't know what a 30% drop will look like until we see the December close. We can only guesstimate. So I'm not going to do that at the moment until December closes, or until we get a bit of an idea closer to December when that will close. I also don't consider that we'll possibly see a deep as a 30% drop. We haven't seen that in the cycle yet. So something more in the 20s%, 20% or 20%, which, you could go 25%. That's pretty close to 30% there. So we really have to see how Bitcoin behaves. If we do lose the 50-day moving average, I'm not really concerned about that, of course, in the short term, as long as we just don't completely capitulate. But we could go below it, bot back above it, go below it, bot back above it. But ultimately, we want to see what happens post-Christmas, Christmas Day, post-Christmas there. Let's look at some of the liquidation levels, because yesterday I did say, if we're looking at the Twitter there, I did say this level here, the 92 to 93 level, then back to 108. Well, we've done the first part. And as I said, what I thought would happen is we did come down and tag that 92 to 93K level yesterday. And even today, I think we might have tagged a little bit of that level. And then are we now going to do the second leg of that and go back to 108K? I just like for it to go back to 100K, to be honest there. But we have seen a little bit of altcoin resurgence as well. So let's look at the liquidation levels, aka the yellow brick road, as I call it, because it is the more where the yellow is where the money is. Show me the money is what Bitcoin is saying. And we say, follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And someone in the comments said the Wizard of Blood, because, obviously the Bitcoin price dropped and there was a bit of blood in the street. So let's just check out the different liquidation levels here. So we do have some more new liquidation levels. Those gamblers who can't help borrowing 100x, going long with leverage, down at 93K there. And we look at the 12-hour time frame. We do have some above at 94, almost 95K, and again down at 93K. So we could just trade a little bit sideways there for a little bit with Bitcoin, just tagging the lower 93 up to 96, 97K there. Again, 93K on the 48-hour. Let's look at the 3-day chart. And I don't use this as my indicator, 93, and then we've got some up here at 98. There on the 3-day chart, on the weekly chart there as well. We have some up at 99. Of course, there is a lot of liquidity up here above price, all the way up to 108,000. And again, we've got that little level down there, 92, 93K there. Again, let's really zoom out here and see if we can find anything that might give us, show us actually how liquidity does get left behind by the market maker. There you can see 90,000, there's 89 million down there, and there's 133 million at 81. So you can see how at some point the market makers do just leave liquidity behind, or liquidity does build up lower below price. And you can see there's a lot of it all the way down, $6 billion down at 61,000. Maybe that level will actually never get hit, by the way, but maybe we will see Bitcoin retrace to that point at some time. And I'm not saying that it's going there. I'm just showing those of you who think you can trade just solely based off this liquidation heat map. I don't do that. And that's why I don't do that, because there is levels down below if you really zoom out to the bigger time frames there. And so we just want to be very careful there. But you can see what happened. The yellow brick road, there we got hit on the 23rd. Just as I said, it would come down if I was the market maker to 92, 93, and then come and popped up to that 94K level. And so if I'm the market maker, what am I going to do here? That's a very good question. Let's look on the 12-hour. If I'm the market maker, I probably tag both these levels today, or maybe I leave this one behind as we start to move into Christmas, or maybe there's one final little drop down before we come into that Christmas Day bounce. Is what we are trading, I'm trading as the most likely probability. Remember, there are no guarantees in trading. There are only probabilities, okay? And so I think the highest probability there, possibly come down. But again, remember, at some point, liquidity is going to get left behind to the upside or to the downside. It just can't forever sit in this channel, or maybe it can, and the altcoins are going to have their moment and take off, and the Bitcoin's just going to continue to trade up and down and liquidate longs and shorts that have just gone in too heavy during that time, okay? And we do see with that, Bitcoin dominance has taken a bit of a tumble. So this is kind of big because we did break above the 50-day moving average. This is a fairly bearish candle to the downside, obviously there. And then we broke down with vol pretty heavy here, boom, and then again, come down. This is the 200 EMA on the daily that's sitting there. The 50-day moving average is broken. So we do want to see this come down to this level and then drop. So it's possible that the Bitcoin dominance top has come in about a month earlier than last cycle, where it came in on December the 28th of 2020. And that all that means really is maybe altcoins are starting to move a little bit sooner, or maybe we're just having a little bit of an altcoin bounce as people rotate from Bitcoin into some altcoins as they prepare for that altcoin season. And we will talk about that in a couple of hours in the altcoin video, how historically that does come generally in January. And just because, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. And so the probability is there, possibly that is some rolling into the altcoins, getting ready for altcoin season. So there is some preparation there. That's a possible reason for that we've seen a little bit of a bounce in the altcoins there. So we'll just keep an eye on that Bitcoin dominance. Always really important to keep an eye on those Bitcoin dominance and the charts there. And of course, we do keep an eye on that total 2, that total 3, and the others chart. This is all the altcoins here minus Bitcoin. We have found support at the 50-day moving average. That's great. We want to see that continue. We have found, again, support at the 50-day moving average. And for the others chart, we have found support as well. And remember from my video yesterday, what was I talking about? Were altcoins that were above. I looked to buy altcoins that found support on the 50-day moving average, or found support on the 200 EMA on the daily time frame. Ones that altcoins that were above both, I considered to be much stronger altcoins, and possibly maybe a little bit of a sign that those will be the leaders going into the second half, into this parabolic phase of this bull run. And of course, those, so I look to buy at these levels there if a coin hits the 50-day moving average, or at the 200 EMA on the daily, as long as the 50-day moving average is above. If it's below, then I'm more looking to buy the 200 EMA on the daily, if that's the one that above, because that coin would be quite bearish if you got the lower moving average below the shorter below the longer. You want the shorter above, and you want this kind of here. So for me, the altcoin market is quite good, and these are still buying opportunities for altcoins. And I have been sharing in the Discord. I shared a list in the Discord of altcoins that were above the 50-day, or sitting on the 50-day, or above the 200 EMA on the daily, or sitting on it. And so those of you who got that list, maybe you picked up some buys getting ready for altcoin season. As always, manage your risk. Just because history has repeated doesn't mean that it's going to repeat, and we should be prepared for every scenario moving forward, making sure you have stop losses set and you manage your risk, you manage your position size, and you do not risk money that you cannot afford to lose, okay? So as we come into this Christmas season, I do plan on doing a show on Christmas Day, early Christmas morning, probably just the one show there. And so I will see you tomorrow to wish you a Merry Christmas. It'll probably be quite early, probably around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I will look to have that out to you on Christmas Day. And again, all of those who are experiencing Christmas or maybe are watching this video a day late, want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And until the next video, which will be the altcoin video in a couple of hours, happy trading.